Hi there, welcome to live stream Yoga with Louise, tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on mat. Today's yoga class is all about choice, choosing to see the good, choosing to see the light, choosing to be happy today. As always, play where you're comfortable, modify if you need to, rest whenever you need to. You ready? Let's hit the mat. We're going to set up for today's class coming into a kneeling frame towards the back end of the mat. Kneel up nice and tall. Make sure that your knees are stacking underneath your hips and your hips underneath your shoulders. You can relax the feet onto the mat behind you, but make sure that you're not pigeon-toeing in or out, so keep those feet stacking behind your knees. Kneel up nice and tall and start to get a little stretch into the top of your thighs and into the lower belly area. Interlace the hands so that you're making a little lattice. Invert the hands and push them away from you, starting to look for a little stretch through the arms and the shoulders. Then float your interlaced hands overhead, starting to get even more stretch and length through the body, and start to take a little off-center palm tree sway side to side. Bumping your interlaced hands off-center to one side, starting to look for those areas of tightness in the body and starting to move into them. Keep that sense of length through the top of your thighs and into the lower belly area. Then come to stillness along the midline and start to trace a circular pattern clockwise with your interlaced hands, as if you were trying to use your palms to trace a little circle on the ceiling. Then uninterlace your hands, drop them long and heavy at your side, on a side. Take a little smile. Place your hands palms down on the mat and ease your way from 4-point kneeling into a down dog, tucking your toes under, taking your bum up to the sky, and just settling into a nice little stretch here. If you're feeling really tight along the back chain of the leg, maybe try slipping or sliding your feet an inch or two closer towards your nose, and just trying to settle yourself in the stretch. If you're really tight, you can give me a knee bend side to side until the legs are released enough to hold the stretch. Try to find almost a little triangular frame between the arms and the legs as you settle into your down dog frame, allowing for that inversion of the head, that pooling of the blood. Adho Mukha Svanasana, down dog. Keeping your arms nice and strong, you're going to morph from your down dog into an up dog. Think of coming into a plank line, and then start to bump your hips through the plank line with control so that you've got more of a crescent frame in the back. You're strong through the arms, you're strong through the belly, you're strong through the tops of the back of your legs. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Ease your way from here back into your down dog, and then find your way into the three-legged dog on the right by bending the right knee and kicking up the right leg behind you. At first, stay nice and even through the shoulders and the hips, so there's no pop and rotate on the right. Stay here or come into a tiptoe dog, pointing both sets of toes, and then maybe arching your dog by bending that right leg, dropping it off center to the left and peeking over the left shoulder for that hanging scorpion tail of the foot. Keep strong through the belly so that you're protecting your back. Stay here or find your way into a three-legged tabletop by focusing on your hanging foot. You're going to try to drop it to the floor behind you as you pivot on your back leg, opening up your belly to the sky, looking up towards that top arm, trying to open up your whole body from your root chakra to your throat center as you peek up to the sky. Ease your way from here back into your down dog. Then take a big lunge step forward with the right leg to the inside of the right hand. If your foot gets stuck, just do a manual adjustment. Make sure you've got knee over ankle. And scooch up the back leg slightly, dropping it at 45. Coming up into a warrior one pose, but you're going to bring your hands to prayer overhead. Pushing softly into your palms, maybe electing to cross at the thumbs as you find prayer overhead. And just holding here in your warrior one pose, making sure that the weight bearing is equal on the back and the front leg. Look for strength, look for control. Then keep your right hand where it is, overhead, and drop your back hand to your back leg. Coming into a modification of peaceful warrior, maybe you'd like to wrap your fingertips of the back hand around the inner thigh as you gently keep gazing up to the sky. Keep opening up your chest and your throat center. Take a big breath in and then try to morph from this position into a half moon balance. Maybe beginning to drop your overhead hand to the mat in front of you. You're going to launch the weight off your back leg and place it on your front leg as you kick that back leg up behind you. Find purchase on the mat. You could even use a block underneath your bottom hand as you come into half moon, maybe pointing the toes of the back foot as you find your little half moon. You're going to ease your way from half moon into triangle. Think of bending your lead leg. Take a big step back. You can angle in that back foot, coming back into that warrior one-leg pose, but this time straighten out both legs. You're going to use the back of your hand on the inseam of the lead leg. Maybe you're high up, pushing against your thigh. Maybe you're a little bit lower, pushing against your calf. Or maybe you're all the way with your fingertips on the mat as you try to find a beautiful T-frame, thinking of running a broomstick from your top hand to the bottom hand. Keep looking for length through the body. Then think about that almost triangular frame that you have between the two legs. We're going to change it slightly. You're going to begin pivoting through the trunk. You're going to tuck the back toe under. You can bring your feet in slightly. All 10 toes looking to the front of the mat, and maybe more of an acute triangle between the two legs. Maybe your fingertips are on the mat. Maybe you're pushing off your lead thigh. Or maybe you're just hanging in table with your fingertips looking towards the floor. Or maybe you prefer to place them on your hip points. Look for that intense stretch. And then let's play with it, challenging our balance and our strength. You're going to kick off the back leg, coming into a standing frame. You could use your toe on the mat if you need to. You're going to kick the left leg away from you and then come back into your pyramid. You're going to do that 5 times dynamically. Launching off the back leg, kicking as if you were trying to kick the wall in front of you away from you, and then coming back into your pyramid. Working on getting quite an intense stretch into that lead leg every time you step back into that little pyramid frame through the body. End in your pyramid frame, all 10 toes looking to the front of the mat. And then step up the back leg and come into a loose forward fold. Maybe both feet stacking underneath your hips, maybe hands on the floor, maybe hands on your shins or the top of your thighs, or maybe you're hanging once more in table. Pause here, gently rocking the weight back and forth, trying to find more stretch, more opening through the back of your legs. Then soften your knees and ragdoll style peel up to come into a gentle supported back bend. Maybe placing both of your hands palms down or palms up into your lower back as you take a gentle back bend. Pause here, breathing nice and deeply. Then drop your arms at your side, soften through the knees, and find your way back into a down dog. Maybe giving me a little V position this time, with the two heels close along the midline and the toes softly splayed out to the corners of your mat so that you can feel quite a bit of work on the inside and the outside of the legs. Then square up your feet again and find your way back into your original high kneeling frame on the mat. Shoulders, hips, knees stacked. Start to tilt the pelvis to the 12 o'clock position. Start to get a little stretch into the lower belly. Interlace the hands, invert them, push them away from you. Big breath in, float your hands overhead. And then begin to move through your little palm tree sway, side to side, Palmirasana. Looking for that delicious stretch into the ribs. Looking for that stretch into the legs and the lower belly. End with your palms looking up to the ceiling, and this time begin to trace an anti-clockwise circle with your palms on the ceiling. Inhale for half of the circle, exhale for the other half. Come to stillness along the midline and then take those interlaced hands and hook them into the crook of your head. Resting your head heavy into your interlaced hands and look up to the sky. Just resting the weight of your head in that little basket that you've created with your palms. Elbows keep looking up to the sky. Take a few deep breaths here. Opening up all 9 chakras from root to crown. On an exhale, drop the arms long and heavy at your side. And then ease your way into 4-point kneeling to find your way back into a down dog. Legs should be feeling a little bit warmer now. Maybe you can take an opportunity to creep your toes a 1/4 foot space forward, trying to get more anchoring through the heels of your feet, trying to get an awesome stretch, not only into the arms and the legs, but your whole body. Then think about how you're going to morph from this frame into an up dog. Make sure you've got enough space between the arms and the legs. So if you need to, slide your arms slightly forward. Think of coming into a plank line with control. Pause in your plank line first. Look for that strength and that engagement of your core first before you start dropping through the plank line, giving me more of a crescent frame. Make sure you're not collapsing through the shoulders, so push the mat strongly away. Look for that strength through the arms and the core. Ease your way from here back into your down dog frame, and then prepare to play on the left side of the body. Softly kick up your left leg behind you and find a 3-legged dog. At first, you're relatively stable through the shoulders and the hips. Actively bracing into both feet. Then find a tiptoe position on the right. Maybe start to soften that back leg that's floating behind you. Bend that floating back leg. Drop the foot off center to the right as you start pivoting slightly through the hips, finding an arching dog. Keep belly to spine. Maybe dropping that hanging foot to the floor behind you. Bring your belly up towards the sky. Find Kamaktrasana, wild thing. Open up your belly to the sky without dropping that bottom to the floor. Maybe you're looking up to the sky. Maybe you're looking up to that palm of the hand that's overhead. You're going to ease your way from here back into your down dog frame. And then give me a big lunge step forward with the left leg to the inside of the left hand. Scooch up the back leg, drop it at about a 45-degree angle and peel up, hands together in prayer, crossing at the thumbs as you come into a modified Warrior 1, Virabhadrasana 1. Make sure you're anchoring through both legs, so not leaning everything into your lead leg. Then keep your left hand overhead as you drop your right hand to the back leg, maybe wrapping around to reach hold of the inside of your inner thigh as you keep peeking up towards the sky in a modified peaceful warrior, trying to open up through your belly, your chest, and your throat center as best you can. We're going to find a half moon balance from here. Start to bend more on the lead leg, drop your left hand to the floor, push off the back leg, use your toes if you need to, and then start rotating softly on the top hip so that you can stack it gently over the bottom hip, and you're pointing the toes of your back leg as you find Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. From here, you're going to ease your way into a triangle. Think of bending the lead leg, drop your back leg, find your 45 first, then straighten out both legs as you use the back of your lead hand to push against the inseam of your lead leg. Whether you're playing high or lower to the mat, just find the triangle, Utthita Trikonasana, that works for you. Pause here, look for strength, look for control. Then think of that triangular frame between the two legs and begin to make it more acute. Begin to rotate through the trunk as if you wanted to drop both hands either side of the lead leg. You can step up the back leg slightly, creating more of an acute triangle, or 10 toes looking to the front of the mat. Find Parsvottanasana, intense pyramid. Stay here or begin to play, stepping up the back leg, balance on the lead leg, kick away, and then ease your way back into your pyramid. You're going to do that at least 5 times, trying to find more work on that lead leg and an intense stretch on that lead leg every time you find your way into your pyramid frame. Just find a gentle control that works for you, kicking the leg away and then coming back into your pyramid. And if you catch a speed wobble, remember, choose to smile about it. Don't take it too seriously. Let's do one more. We'll end in that pyramid frame, and you're going to hold that little intense stretch here. Then step up the back leg, feet are in parallel, stacking underneath your hips, and just come into a gentle forward fold. Hands either connected to the mat, or maybe to a block, or perhaps higher up along the chain of your legs. Think of that weight disbursement in your feet, trying to have it relatively equal between the balls and the heels of your feet so that you can enjoy that awesome stretch. Then soften through your knees, leading with the back of your ribs, ragdoll style. You're going to peel up and you're going to ease your way into a gentle supported back bend. Fingertips either down or up. Curving slightly to peek up towards the sky. Thinking of trying to float your 2 shoulder blades and the 2 elbows as close together along the midline of the body as you can comfortably manage. Then as you come out of the back bend, drop the arms heavy at your side, nod your chin to your chest, and just pause here, looking for release into the spine, into the neck. We're going to change our orientation on the mat, and you're going to open up into, have your legs wide enough so that you can open up into a wide plie with your knees and your ankles stacking. You're going to start with the legs extended, once more playing with that little triangular shape between the 2 legs. Open up your arms into a T frame. Palms are looking in the same orientation as your face, and you're going to reach as long as you can through your fingertips, the crown of your head, and your 2 feet. Then bend at the knees, bend at the elbows, coming into goddess. We're going to do that 4 more times dynamically, straightening up arms and legs, reaching tall through those 5 points, your 2 hands, your 2 feet, your crown, and then exhaling as you come into goddess, Uttaka Konasana. Just find a gentle dynamic rhythm that works for you. You're going to end with your arms and your legs extended. Then drop the arms at your side and angel wing fashion. You're going to float both hands overhead to tap your thumbs and your index fingers overhead. And then come back to your start position. Just making a beautiful angel-like frame with your body. Last one. You're going to heel toe back in, but you're going to give me a slightly off-center position with more room to step to the front of the mat. Come into a narrow mountain, big toes are together, ankles are together, and you're squeezing the energy between the inner thighs together. We're going to set up a tree line from here. Bending the right leg, either big toe on the mat, or if your balance is feeling good, maybe scooching up a little bit higher so that your whole foot is below the knee line. Or if you're feeling good, you can take that foot all the way to the inner seam of your stabilizing leg. Look for stillness, look for control as you bring your hands to prayer in front of your heart. Then think of your prayer hands as being a little green shoot that's trying to grow up towards the light. Start to grow your shoot towards the sky. No rush, just gently ascending, keeping those hands in prayer overhead so that you look almost like a tall steeple with your prayer hands overhead. Then maybe opening up your hands like the branches of a tree, opening up and bathing itself in the light. Palms are looking up to the ceiling. You're going to find your way into a warrior two position, like from here, keeping your palms up. So take a big lunge step to the front of your mat, making sure you've got knee over ankle. So wiggle your foot surreptitiously out. Tap the wall in front, tap the wall behind. Try not to drop one hand lower than the other. Take a few deep breaths here. And then straighten up your lead leg and come back into a wide triangle this time. Tapping your fingertips to your shin or maybe to your ankle while reaching tall through both sets of fingertips. Breathe. Ease your way gently back into your warrior two-like frame. Tap the wall in front, take the wall behind. Keep your hands open and receptive. Then push off your lead leg. Find your way back to center. Maybe feet just a little bit wider than hip width distance apart. And give me a soft ragdoll half helicopter sway side to side. Allowing your hands to just whirl around you. And then maybe starting to allow them to drop closer towards your hip line so that you're tapping or bumping your hips or your bum with the hands. End softly twisted to the right, cupping opposite hand to hip and looking over the right shoulder. Uncouple and walk your way towards the middle of the mat. Coming into a narrow mountain, big toes and ankles flush along the midline. Bring your hands to prayer in front of your heart while holding mountain tadasana. Tuck your tailbone under, pull your belly button in. Then notice the position of your hands. Currently, both palms pushing actively into each other with your elbows tracking wide. Stay here or try to morph into lotus mudra by beginning to open up your hands. Think of a flower blossoming. You're keeping your thumbs and your pinkies together and you're opening up your fingertips to the sky. Close your hands to pray. Try that again this time, but this time you're going to be floating into a butterfly position, a standing butterfly. So think of peeling your heels off the floor, opening up your knees to the side of the room and starting to bend through the knees. At the same time you bend through the knees and try to drop down into a haunch-like line, try to open up your hands into that little lotus blue. Then close up your hands as you come back to your start position, sandwiching your legs along the midline. Let's try that again. Float up onto the toes so the heels are coming off the floor. Try to keep the two heels touching along the midline as you open up the knees to the side of the room. Give me a nice lazy smile. Ease your way back to the center line. Maybe nodding your chin to your chest and pausing here. Then drop the arms at your side and heel toe your feet out, coming back into that star-like frame. So toes looking to the corners of the mat, opening up the arms in a T-like frame with your palms looking in the same orientation as your face, and just look for the length through your crown, your two hands and your 2 feet. Exhale to bend at the knees without allowing the knees to fall in. Bend at the elbows so that you're making a cactus frame through your arms. Then extend the legs and extend the arms. Exhale as you find your goddess frame, dropping nice and low through the pelvis. And then inhale to extend through the arms and the legs as you find your star-like frame. Do that at least 5 times, working with your breath. Come to stillness in that star-like frame. Keep the legs extended and just drop the arms at your sides. Then start to trace little angel wings, tapping your fingers overhead. And then dropping the arms at your side. While you're playing, I want you to think of drawing up the energy from your kneecap along the quad, along the inner thighs, so that you feel that lengthening through the legs. Your legs are actively working. They're not just passively holding that V frame. Let's do one more. Then drop the arms at your side. You're going to heel toe in, but you're going to give yourself more space at the back end of the mat so that you can find your warrior 2-like frame. Stand up nice and tall in your modified mountain, Tadasana, and ease your way into Virksasana, tree pose. Maybe you're playing small. Maybe the balance is feeling a little bit better and you can slide that foot up. Or maybe you'd like to take your step all the way to the inseam of your anchoring leg. Find your balance first, and then bring your hands to prayer. Once you've found that stillness, that centeredness, that sense of control, you can begin growing your tree towards the light. And don't rush your ascent. Just think of trying to make a beautiful, almost steeple-like frame with your hands overhead. Then open up the branches of your tree. Bathe yourself in that beautiful sunlight. Keeping your hands palms up, take a big warrior 2-like step. Wiggle your front foot forward as you settle down and drop into your modified Virabhadrasana 2, warrior 2. Tap the wall in front, tap the wall behind. Take a few deep breaths here. Check that your back leg is anchored in at 90 and that you're not dropping the lead knee in. So keep opening it up to the side of the room. Then take a big breath in and begin to extend your front leg. Pretend somebody's pulling on your lead arm. Start to hinge forward. Tapping the back of your fingertips to your shin bone and opening up with the top arm towards the ceiling. Take a few generous breaths here. Ease your way from here back into your warrior two-like frame. Check that that back foot is still anchored at 90. Tap the wall in front, tap the wall behind. Watch that you're not leaning all the way forward. So try to have that weight coming down equally through your pelvis to the floor. Then drop your arms at your side. Push off or heel toe back in towards the middle of the mat. Legs are in a comfortable summer seating, so maybe hip width distance apart. You're going to play with that little half a helicopter, swaying your arms side to side. As that twisting motion starts to feel more comfortable through the trunk, you're going to start making your arms heavier towards your hips, and you're going to give me a little hip slap side to side. Cupping opposite hand to hip as you rotate side to side. Then twisted to the left, cupping opposite hand to hip, and just hold here. Then gently untwist your trunk, drop your arms at your side, and heel toe back in into a narrow mountain. Big toes, ankles, inner thighs squeezing. Tilt your pelvis to the 12 o'clock position so that you feel a lengthening in the lower back. And bring your hands to prayer mudra in front of your heart. Give yourself a few quiet moments here in Tadasana, mountain. Then start to focus on the little mudra that you're making with your hands. Open up your blossom, find lotus, maybe allowing the elbows to drop as your fingertips open up. And then closing your bloom once more. Stay here or begin to play with the arms and the legs. Start to float into a butterfly position, coming onto the tips of your toes, keeping the heels together as you open the knees. As you start dropping your body closer to the mat, you begin to open up your little lotus bloom. Find your way back to standing nice and tall with the legs sandwiched together along the midline. Big breath in. Find your way back into your floating butterfly. Look for that sense of control, that almost pulling up the energy from the kneecaps along your inner thighs and through the lower belly towards your belly button line. Let's do that one more time. Look for that beautiful flow as you open up your lotus bloom. Ease your way back into mountain, and then maybe changing your orientation on the mat and finding your way either to a seat of your choice, or you could even bring yourself into corpse pose, Shavasana. If you like, I'm going to sit back into Thunderbolt. Knees are together, feet are together, sitting back on the heels. Relax your hands, palms down into your lap. Ladies, left hand over right. Gents, right hand over left. So depending on whether you want the male or the female system to be more dominant, that's the hand you're going to have on top. Just relax the arms long and heavy at your side, and we'll take it into some gentle breath work. Let's play with Ujjayi, ocean breath. You're going to be inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Both on the inhale and the exhale, you're going to constrict the windpipe slightly so that it almost feels like you're sucking air through a straw, beginning to make a soft, audible sound both on the inhale and maybe more forcefully on the exhale. Maybe closing the eyes, taking your focus in, and almost thinking of making a soft, ocean-like wave sound with your breath. Close your eyes, take your focus in, and begin breathing. Keep rinsing and repeating that soft, wave-like sound. Think of soft waves breaking over a beautiful beach. Set the scene for yourself. Keep your eyes closed and your focus inward as you focus on nothing but the sound of your breath. Every time you exhale, feel the warm, stale air tickling the little hairs in your nose as you expel toxins from your body on the exhale. Every time you inhale, think of that beautiful, cool, fresh air coming in, giving your body an opportunity to take that oxygen and use it internally for all the processes it requires. Then maybe beginning to transition from your ujjayi or ocean breath into just a softer inhale and exhale with almost no sound on either the inhale or the exhale. Begin to deepen or lengthen your exhale so that you're beginning to work at a 1 to 2 inhalation to exhalation ratio. So let's say you're inhaling for 3, you'll be doubling up and exhaling for 6. And you can build that up working at the capacity that works for you, but make sure that you're not straining on the exhale. Maybe electing to keep those eyes closed and your focus inward as you take yourself back to the intention that we set at the beginning of the class, that intention of choice. Remember that your happiness is a choice, not a result. Your happiness will not come to you. It can only come from you. With that thought, close off your practice for today by bringing your hands to prayer in front of your heart and then blossoming into Lotus Mudra as you end off your practice for today with the words, Shanti, peace. Peace within, peace without. Thank you so much for joining me today. Till next time, keep it light.